Boom. Drew, what's going on, bro? It's good to see you.
Hey, nice to see you. I'm excited.
Man, I see you every day, bro. The most calls attended in the community, the record holder. And I don't think anybody's ever going to beat it. You're up to like 46 in like 2 months, the last 2 months. So, absolute,
Hey,
absolute legend in the Default Kings community, man. I'm
there
excited.
you go. It's one of the best parts about the whole thing. So take advantage of it.
Absolutely, bro. When I told the team, I was telling you this before we started the recording, but when I told the team it was your day to get the client spotlight interview, everybody's like, "It's about damn time you had Drew on, bro. It's about damn." So I'm excited, man.
Yeah,
And
me too.
dude, you've been crushing it, dude. How much weight are you down so far? I know you're crushing it, but you still got time to go. You're here for a year, but how much are you down so far?
Yeah, I got some ways to go still, but just cracked over 70 this week. So
Dude.
like 72, 73 pounds as of right now.
Dude, that's amazing. And
Yeah.
that's been what, 4.5, 5 months?
Yeah, I kind of look at it as like December 28th because I joined December 9th, but that first couple weeks of the holidays, I was traveling, wasn't really doing anything much. So yeah, I kind of look at my official date as the 28th of December.
Dude,
So technically, what, 4 months today?
dude. 72 pounds, 4 months, bro. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's a testament to you and the work that you put in here because it's obviously it's not a secret, right? That's like the biggest thing we tell you guys on those group calls is you don't swipe the credit card and the weight magically disappears. There's obviously your end of the bargain that you have to hold up, and you've done an amazing job of doing that. And you're somebody that's absolutely a leader in the community and guys look up to. And again, man, I'm just so proud of you. And I'd love for you to walk everybody through the process for you. Like, what exactly was it that you were struggling with and looking to change before you got on the inside?
Yeah, so I was for a good 3, 4 years, I was in a pretty much just a rut, not much activity whatsoever, kind of avoiding different situations because just whether it was I live in Arizona, so whether it was going out hiking or doing physical activities, I just knew I wasn't going to be able to do very well at. So kind of just withdrawing a little bit from my circle of friends. Yeah, had went through some issues personally with my dad passing away in 2022 pretty suddenly at 64. Don't have a male figure in my life that lived kind of past 65, I believe. So, kind of just smacked me in the face and was like, you just start looking at this, thinking about this, like, what are you going to do for the rest of your life? So that's kind of what prompted me is, early 2022, started really looking into it and really thinking, okay, I got to make a change. I got to get it back on this, better path. And you just started looking around, posting different or not posting, but looking at different posts on Twitter and stuff like that. And, behold, Gabe, I think reached out to me first and, had a call with him and, kind of, history from there. But, yeah, that's really kind of just was in that, just not a great place, just, really kind of just going through the motions and just not worrying about that health side of things. And then kind of just had that epiphany that this needs to be a number one focus priority for me.
Man, dude, you have a crazy story. And every time you tell it, because obviously this is not my first time hearing your
Right.
story, every time you tell it, it strikes me the fact that you bring up you haven't had a male figure in your life live past 65. Like for you, when I think about Drew, I think about somebody that's breaking generational curses. And I mean that. And it obviously speaks a ton to our mission because I look at Gabe and I feel the same way about Gabe. And I see that in you because he had to do that with his family too. Everybody's been diabetic in his family, and he's obviously breaking that curse. You're somebody that's also breaking generational curses. And that takes a ton of courage. That takes a ton of bravery. That takes a ton of understanding that people are probably going to look at you and notice that you're making changes, and they might talk. They might be like, what are you doing? Why are you eating that? How come you aren't going to this? How come you aren't doing that anymore? But it's bigger than you. This is something that is going to impact generations for come, and that's admirable. And for you, where have we come into play? Like, what have we done to help you with these things?
Yeah, I think big thing with you guys is really kind of force me to actually acknowledge kind of where I was and where I want to go. Yeah, that was kind of a big thing. I was on a little bit of a side story, but my first call with Gabe, I think I've told you this story, but I was
Yeah.
sitting there, basically told him that I haven't weighed myself in probably over a year and a half at that point because I just didn't want to see what it said. And he literally just looked at me and said, "Will you go weigh yourself right now?" And I'm like, I just jumped on a call with this random guy from Twitter, and I'm like, now you're telling me to weigh myself. So I did, and it was it was kind of shocking that I had basically gained back a bunch of weight that I had lost previously, and was kind of starting from scratch again. And that was kind of like the thing that popped with me, that just, hey, okay, this is the time, and there's a reason why I'm on this call with with this random guy from Twitter at this moment. So that was kind of a big, I think I said like epiphany before for me as well. But with you guys, when I talk to people, I always say, like, they always say, "Oh, yeah, you're doing great, losing weight, all this stuff." Like, losing weight part is not the hard part, it's the whole mental side of things, and actually kind of figuring out, why you had gained the weight in the first place, and what you have to change within your own mental state to actually keep that weight off moving forward, and live in a better lifestyle that you want, and creating that identity for yourself that's going to be positive to yourself and positive to the people around you.
That's amazing, brother. And I think the thing that sticks with me when you tell the story, because again, that's another story like I've heard you tell before, is you hadn't weighed yourself in like a year and a half because you were scared to see the number. And you talked as well about something that we helped you do, is just recognize what was going on before. And are you open to sharing a little bit more in depth about what was going on that you were struggling with, and where you were at, and what was making you take that action of not stepping on the scale?
Yeah, well, I had lost 120 pounds in back in like 2017.
Mhm.
So I had, basically cut calories to basically, 1,000, 1,200 calories a day, just
Woo!
cardio constantly,
Yeah.
just horrible, horrible practices. And hey, it worked, but that had nothing, it had no long-term effect, because all I was doing is focusing, okay, what's that scale say? What's the scale say? What's the scale say? And, kind of only benefit to me was obviously losing the weight, but then also like kind of that public people around me saying, "Oh, hey, looking good. That's obviously you're losing weight." But kind of once I got to that goal, that kind of stopped, because now that's just the normal weight you're at. So you don't get that kind of public confirmation, and then there really wasn't. I didn't have anything planned past that goal, so then it kind of you know goes away, and just starts to okay, well, don't need to go to the gym anymore, this many times a week or whatever it may be, and kind of slowly went away. And then the classic excuse that everyone used, COVID hit, and basically fell off the world from there. But yeah, just kind of during that COVID, I kind of lost all that kind of community around me that I had at the local gym I was going to, and all that, and just really allowed that to be the excuse to, kind of basically stop what I was doing, that I had done for the past 2 years before that, basically a year and a half before that, and just kind of allowed myself to just you know sit on the couch, get back just watching TV, doom scrolling Twitter, just doing all this stuff that's just totally unproductive, which, just drags the kind of mental state down. And, just kind of got into a spot where it just didn't even got kind of care about the weight anymore, because it was like, okay, I screwed it up, and what's the point at this time?
Man, that's powerful. And talk about COVID too, right? And that was the classic one for everybody, because and you know this, and you see this because there's other guys in the group that they found themselves on a similar path of kind of going down the wrong trail once COVID hit, but they came in here and they were able to reverse that.
Yeah.
And it's always interesting to me to hear COVID stories, because you see a lot of people that COVID was the worst time of their life, but you see a lot of people that COVID was the best time of their
Oh
life.
yeah.
There's a lot of people that during COVID found us and they were able to make changes. So it's interesting to look at that frame and take that ownership. And obviously, a big part of this community is that ownership, and you've been somebody that's taken that. And I'm curious to hear what the difference in experience was between losing weight this time and losing weight that first time when you dropped 120 pounds. Because you mentioned there's there's a lot of practices you were doing then that weren't necessarily the most sustainable thing in the world. So can you describe the difference in journey of weight loss for you the first time compared to now?
Yeah. I think the way you guys lay it out, just on the nutrition and actually losing the weight side of things, not even to look at the mental yet, but it's just so much more realistic when it comes to, just focusing on, like when it first starts, focus on calories, focus on protein. That's it. Don't make it too difficult. Make it where you're not restricting yourself of, things you enjoy, but just making intentional choices to have those things as opposed to, you know, the example of ice cream always comes up, but instead of having ice cream 2, 3 nights a week, make sure you're having ice cream, with a group of friends or something, and making it an intentional thing that's actually adding to your, own personal growth or personal, well-being.
Mhm.
But I think that just make it extremely simple and just having, hey, this is the plan. These are the things you need to do on a daily basis. You're not telling me to go run, 30-minute sprints. You're telling me go take a 20-minute walk. So it's like, it just makes it much more sustainable long term to say, okay, I can go and do a 20-minute walk every day. That's not a big deal. But when you're telling someone, hey, go run 30 minutes a day, that's a little bit, more, aggressive. And some people will look at that and be like, it's just not something I can continue doing for the rest of my life. So I think just making it sustainable and making it to the point where it just becomes a normal practice and it's not something crazy out of the ordinary. People always ask me like when I'm out with them, can you eat this? Can you do this? It's like, yeah, I can do anything I want. It's just a matter of, making those choices and kind of, adjusting, how I look at different things. If I'm out at a restaurant and I look at a menu differently, then I may not order exactly what's on the menu. It may kind of curate it to work with what I want when it comes to protein and stuff like that. But I think just having that simplification of the process is key. And then also on the mental side, really actually forcing me to kind of put together what I want my, identity to be. What do I want people to see when they look at me or talk with me? And I think that that's a big thing as well because previously when I lost it, it was I only thing I was really going for is that that like button. People giving me that a little bit of motivation on a daily basis. Whereas now it's like that's great. Love hearing compliments, that type of thing, of course, as everyone would. But that's not what's driving me anymore. It's definitely more internal and more of a drive to actually improve myself for the long term.
It's amazing. And how do you expect that difference in strategy to impact the longevity of these changes for you?
Yeah. I think it's again, I think it goes back to that identity as what do I actually want to be seen as, in the world. And I think that's kind of the long-term aspect is,
Mhm.
I don't just have this singular goal of, getting to whatever 200 pounds or something. That's not necessarily the goal. Of course it is to continue to lose weight and all that, but it's more of just an overall approach of I have a goal of this mental mindset. I have a goal of strength. I have a goal of weight, and that doesn't end when I get to a number on the scale. So I think that's a bigger part is making it more of an all around approach and impacting my life as a whole as opposed to just one factor of the scale.
Mhm. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
if that makes sense.
Totally makes sense. And that's the biggest concern. That's always the elephant in the room when we work with people that have lost weight before and done it through some sort of a program, some sort of a coaching style. That's always the elephant in the room that needs addressed is like, what is going to be the difference here that makes this something that actually produces longevity for you? What about this is going to allow Drew to, when his time is done with the hands-on portion of our coaching, to go out and do this himself? And you're a guy that's a regular on my coaching calls. And you can tell everybody how often I sit down there and say, you need to understand this at a level that you can come in and coach it because that's the sustainability factor, right? I want you to understand the principles. So it's always good to address those and give people that clarity. And what would you say for you has been just the overall impact of working with us beyond just number on the scale and strategies and things that we've taught you, just overall impact for you?
Yeah, I think definitely walking with more confidence. Yeah, not just because of smaller clothes sizes and that type of thing. But just in
Yeah.
regards to the mental mindset, I keep saying
Yeah.
that, but it's so huge. Just you know approaching my friend group and people we go and hang out with, or even family, just with a more confident mindset and more confident in my beliefs and more confident to speak on certain subjects that I previously would have just kind of let go, and now I'm more willing to bring up my point of view and
A little more
actually
confrontational there, a
yeah,
little more
in a positive way, of
in a
course. But
positive way. Yeah. Of course.
no, and that's been a big thing too, is positivity. I feel
Yeah.
like my positivity has improved tenfold since starting the program. Inputs is something that you guys preach a lot, and really auditing what's coming into you, and that's something I've taken to heart, and basically knocked out like 80% of the crap that I was taking in before. So that positivity has definitely been noticed by friends and family as well, and just being looked at as, even I'd say, even a leader in regards to asking me advice on different things when it comes to health and fitness, and you know always pulling out information from the calls to to tell
Go,
people.
baby.
So that's
Drop them the link, bro.
yeah,
Drop
yeah,
them the link.
exactly. Exactly. So
Dude,
it's yeah, that's been the biggest thing, is just kind of walking with more confidence.
it's amazing, man. I'm proud of you, dude. It's always great to have these calls, and everybody that watches these client spotlight interviews hears me say this because I'm the first one that you guys chat with when you get outside the program, right? We do the
Yeah.
kickoff call, and like I remember guys' kickoffs call. I genuinely do. Like I remember yours. I remember there being a green background behind you. You're at your parents' house. You were traveling when we had our kickoff call. I remember it. I remember basically everybody's kickoff call because I know eventually the goal is to have them on this call, is
Yeah.
to have them on a client spotlight interview. So it's always fun. And I was telling Carlos this last week when I talked to him, and yeah, I'm just so proud of you, man. And it's always interesting to see the energy shifting, guys, from the initial kickoff call the first time we meet to you 4 or 5 months later, 72 pounds down, completely different man. So I appreciate you coming in here and showing everybody the new light in Drew. And I couldn't be more
Sure.
proud of you, man. I'm excited because we got a trip to Croatia soon, bro. We got a
It's
trip soon, bro.
gonna be insane for sure.
Yeah, I'm excited, brother. I'm excited, man. I appreciate you being here. And as always, man, anything you ever need, let us know.
All right, for sure.
Appreciate
Talk
you.
to you.
See you, brother.